Hey, everybody, welcome back to another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today, Carolina basketball, specifically Armando Bacot, the school's all-time leading rebounder, a graduate student. He's climbing up all kinds of lists, but I'm not going to go down that road today with this one. This drop is about Armando's start to the season. He's had a hell of a start to the season. 47 points and 33 rebounds in the first two games, and a lot of other good stuff that I'll get into in just a second. But a quick reminder, this show is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has been with us all football season and hopefully will continue once we dive fully into basketball after football's over. But they are with us in the first part of the basketball season. You'll hear a message from them coming up in a few minutes. Okay, so Armando's off to a great start, and this is a great sign for the Tar Heels. It would be a bad sign if he wasn't. And I know that some people are going to say, hey, Jay, and they played Radford and Lehigh. Come on. No. The production is important. 47 points and 33 rebounds. He was ACC Player of the Week first week. Awesome. But it's how he's gone about it. And I know there's still some things to pick at. Not finishing around the rim as much. He needs to be a little stronger finishing at the rim. Doesn't have great hands. That probably is part of it. But who cares if he doesn't finish the first time, if he gets his rebound and puts it back up there and scores or draws a foul? Some of these numbers are really, really encouraging. 60% from the field. Well, he's not missing that much at the rim if he's at 60%. And get this, and this doesn't matter who you're playing. Armando's 11 for 12 from the free throw line. He's locked in, guys. Hubert said it after the Lehigh game when he was asked about Armando. Armando went for 22 points and 20 rebounds against Lehigh. He went for 25 and 13 against Radford. And Hubert said, quote, he's locked in, end quote. He also said he's, quote, on a mission, end quote. And he is. I've talked to Armando now, 7 times since the beginning of October, maybe 7 times. He struck me as different when I first talked to him in early October. It was the first time I talked to him since the loss to Virginia in Greensboro, the ACC tournament. And I went up to him and said, man, you look different. You look good. You look trimmer, leaner. He said he is. He's stronger. And in seeing him in practice in October, you could tell he was quicker, a little bit more explosive, a little bit bouncier. I don't think the bounciness has shown up or the explosiveness has shown up on offense that much. I think the quickness and the better footwork has. His spin moves been really good. He's been very decisive getting to the rim, very direct at getting to the rim, but it's really shown up on the defensive end. I think he's been really good defensively for the most part. He got caught in some switches against Radford that weren't advantageous for him, taking on some tough guards who are going to hit that step back shot in the lane. And then if you go out and guard a little bit more, they're going to take a big off the dribble and go to the rim. But otherwise, I think he's been pretty good. He had some solid defensive series in that game. But the other night against Lehigh, one thing that really jumped out at me, if you remember in that game, somebody was beaten off the dribble and on the right side, and this was in the first half. He left his man because they were popping their bigs out a lot for jumpers and threes, 15-foot jumpers and threes. So Armando kind of trailed his guy out a little bit. So he dragged him away from the lane a little bit. And someone was beaten on the right side. And Armando quickly recovered and blocked a shot, rotating over defensively. We hadn't seen that kind of quickness and springiness in him at all since he arrived. And we saw it the other day. And that was a moment he took tremendous pride in after the game. He knows where he is as far as all the different stat rankings historically. He knows he's closing in on Ralph Sampson and he's got a ways to go, but Tim Duncan is in his sights. He knows who they were. He studies this stuff. He's well aware of all the greats of Carolina history, and now he's well aware of many of the double-double greats in ACC history. And certainly Duncan and Sampson were two of the best. So he gets all that stuff. But his juice right now gets flowing fastest and swiftest with that rotation play, with getting the ball in the post, which the Tar Heels done a nice job running stuff to the post the first two games, and nothing's there getting rid of it. And good stuff happens, or sometimes reposting. They've reposted a couple of times. Last year, he'd give up the ball and never come back. He's getting it now. He's doing a really good job of making himself available and getting open. Part of that's because he's often in one-on-one situations because defenses have to guard the other four on the floor, unlike a year ago. And we talked about in October how that was going to be a positive for Armando. So statistically speaking, the 47 and 33 matter because it's, especially the 47, because it's indicative of what he can get in one-on-one situations. Again, it's Radford and Lehigh. We'll see what happens in the Bahamas. They got Tennessee coming up. They got to go play UConn. They got to play Kentucky. They got to play Oklahoma and ACC play. I get it. They have a long Florida State team coming in early December. So we're going to really see where his game is. But we haven't seen 47 and 33 at the start of a season against teams like Radford and Lehigh yet from him, especially in the manner that he's gotten it. And I think that that's huge for this team. All the guys that are new, be it the two freshmen, Elliot Cadeau and Zayden High, or the five transfers, Cormac Ryan, Paxton Wojcik, Harrison Ingram, James Okonkwo, and Jalen Withers. They have now seen firsthand on the team with Armando, because some of them saw it as an opponent before, him doing Armando stuff. They're seeing it, and they're recognizing that's the guy. It's got to go through him. It's got to also go through RJ in many respects. And they're seeing Armando do that. That's huge. Before I continue on, let's go ahead and take a quick break and listen to a word from our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy.
Yes, guys, we are so excited to be partnered with Underdog Fantasy. And we decided to partner with Underdog because it's the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and it's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry right now as well. And Underdog Fantasy has so much to offer, including their Pick'em game. And in Pick'em, you pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. It's so easy to play. Just pick 2 to 5 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. And you can 20x your money by going just 5 for 5. They also have a Best Ball Mania. If you think you know football, you need to check this one out. This year's Best Ball Mania has $15 million in total prizes up for grabs, with the winner taking home $3 million. So sign up today with the promo code HEEL, HEEL, and get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with that promo code HEAL to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. And if you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ncpgambling.org. Back to the show.
So we have something to look forward to seeing if Armando can keep this up. Not so much the stats. He's not going to, what's he averaging, 23 and a half and 16 and a half? He's not going to average that this season. He's not going to go to the Bahamas and take on Villanova and go 28 and 18. He might, but he's probably not going to do it the next day against whoever they would face the next day. It's doubtful he does that against UConn and then does it again against Kentucky and does it again against Oklahoma and does it again in ACC play a bunch of times. But he could. He could end up having a massive statistical year. But I think more important is how he goes about it, how he gets his stuff. I don't see him getting tangled up as much this year on both ends of the floor. I don't see him going through those periods where he gets 1 point in a game like last year at Florida State, where he just never gets involved. I think he's a different player. I think he's taking on a different mental approach. He knows that no matter what, this is his last time. And he wants to hang a banner. He told me that 2 years ago. He was emphatic about it. He wants his jersey up there, but he knows the banner has to come first. The banner comes first and the jersey goes up there. it's because Armando is playing at an exceptionally high level. So 1 week in, he's off to a great start. It's a lot better start than I think some people anticipated, because they didn't really know what to anticipate with him. They maybe think a lot more shots would come from other guys. I don't know. I've heard 1,000 different types of expectations for the way this season would start. But I do know this. Armando has been outstanding so far. It's a great sign for the Tar Heels. If he can stay healthy and keep it up and keep his minutes down, because he has acknowledged, look, I got to keep my minutes down here early so I don't wear down later in the year. That's to paraphrase what he said, I believe, after the Radford game. So he feels good about where things are. He feels good about where this team is, loves his teammates. They love him, and they're comfortable dumping that thing into the post and letting them work. There's the egos on this team are checked at the door. And they're egos, but they're checked at the door. So 1 weekend, great start for Armando, great sign for the Tar Heels. I'm very curious to know what you guys think. How excited are you about the start that he's had to the season? How much do you think it means? Or do you think it means very little because it's Radford and Lehigh? That very well could be the case long term. Or maybe it is a sign of things to come. Maybe he is going to have an awesome year. And this is just the first 2 steps in what could be a magnificent campaign for a really good dude and a really good player who absolutely has a dire thirst to be a part of a special team at a program that he cares for deeply, historically and currently. Let me know what you think. Also, go ahead and click like on this video if you like the podcast. Go ahead and sign up to our channel, subscribe to our channel. I've got my phone going off a bunch. That's why I distracted there a little bit. Who knows what's going on these days? Also, go ahead and hit the notification bell so you get updates every time we upload, and share your thoughts, guys. I want to know what you guys think. It's always healthy to find out what a bunch of different people think about the things that we're talking about here, because the more different opinions I get, the better, the more fun it is, and certainly the better. I'm AJ. I appreciate you stopping by.